everybody, we're just going to give another 30 seconds. I see some other people joining in, so we'll just wait 30 seconds. Okay, so we'll get started. First of all, thank you very much, everyone, for coming out to today's webinar. It's going to be a series of webinars that we're going to be doing, and today is the first one of the of 2024. So thank you very much for joining us. And today it's on Business Central Putaway templates, and that will be I'm just going to introduce, and then I'll introduce the presenters in just a second. Just before we get started, if you have any questions, please enter them into the chat. On my screen, it shows up at the bottom. I'm not sure where it shows up on your screen, but you can enter that into your questions in there, and we'll try and get to them at the end. And we're also going to be recording the presentation and sending it out to the participants. So you don't have to take notes or anything. You get a copy of it. So the presenters today are myself. That's a Johan. I don't know. It was John before. It's John Adams. And I'm the director of WMS sales for Portable Intelligence. We have Annie Esther and Mohan Mohendran. Both have been with Portable Intelligence for a long time, and they head up the Business Central team. So glad that they're here to do some, hopefully some good information for you. And next slide, Andy. So today the agenda is going to be, I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are, just so people know what we do and what we've been doing over the years. And then Mohan will talk a little bit about Business Central itself with its inbound inventory and outbound side, and how it is a warehouse management application. And then Annie will be taking over and showing the software and showing some live stuff within Business Central on the software itself for the putaways. And then we'll have some closing. We'll have some time to try and answer some questions at the end. So I just have to move something out of the way here. So a little bit about who we are and what we've been doing for the past, well, it's over actually 20, I think around 23 years experience deploying WMS solutions. We do it with several different ERPs. So what we do is we manage the inventory. We work with a lot of manufacturers and distribution companies. So both sides, we know all about work orders, finished goods receipts, and along those lines. Our experiences, we have over 200 customers in manufacturing and distribution, and we're low risk because we have over 18 years of integration experience with ERPs, and we are already integrated to Nav, and then we did a complete rewrite to come out with the product for Business Central. So we're excited to having that product launch last year and then into this year. We've got advanced features for complicated manufacturers, and I won't get into that today, but if anybody wants further information on what we do to help people out, that's manufacturers and distributors, I can definitely get on a call with you and talk more about what we do. And we have an RF Plus team that's dedicated to Business Central and enhancing that product daily, monthly, yearly. They come up with a lot of adjustments to the software. So our keys to success with our customers, because we do have a lot of success with people that take on our product, we always bring our best practices deployment to every customer, meaning we see a lot of things throughout our years of implementing the software, and we bring those ideas forward to the company. It's up to you to use it or not. We just bring them forward, but we do try and make sure that you know about them. We're continuously and developing the product for the Business Central community and the visual community. We can customize to suit, and along with that, we bring materials management best practices, meaning there are certain ways that materials should be handled, and we bring those ideas along to you as well. Next slide, Annie. So the reason I like this slide is not because I like the logos on there, but really it's all the different areas that we go into. Food, for example, they have a lot material that shows up. For example, your flour, shows up on one day, it was made at a certain lot. If that goes into cupcakes, if we're making that we have to track going in there in case it's a food recall. So we help customers with on that side. On the packaging side, Nellypack, for example, makes products for the packaging of medical supplies. So they have very stringent rules that they need to follow. They have clean rooms, making sure everything's followed correctly. Industrial manufacturing, they might not build a lot of widgets in one day. It might take them weeks, months, even years to build one machine that they're building, one bridge, for example. And we're able to follow them along with all the legs that would be done on their engineering masters. Consumer goods, most of these customers are selling worldwide, and we help them in that area. On the automotive side, they obviously have stringent things that they have to track as well as far as trace is concerned. They need to know what time a part was made if it goes into a car, again, for recalls. And also on the automotive side, we help a lot of companies that sell into the tier one because the tier ones ask for very specific type of labeling. And a lot of the companies that we work with are really experts in that, and we don't expect them to be. So we help them how to build, it's called an AIAG label. We help them to build those AIAG labels to match up with the Toyotas, the Fords, the General Motors, to make sure that they can get not only business they were getting, but to get more business. And then on the end, we have medical, and we also can include aerospace in there. We work with a lot of aerospace and medical supplies, which have their own stringent rules that they need to follow, and we help them a lot in that area as well. Next slide, Annie. So the product itself, the software itself, it's really built for ease of use for somebody that's working on the shop floor, in receiving, on the shipping area. They're not there to try and learn the most fancy software that comes out. They have a task. They want to get that task given to them as easy as possible and complete that task, which the software filling in as much software as much information as it can, and then bring them on to the next field that they need to worry about. Maybe it's a serial number, or maybe it's the amount that they're receiving. So with that, we built it in that range. And if we look at the top right, you can see that there is these devices here. This is mostly what people use, about 70 to 80%, I would say. Others use more of a smartphone type mobile scanning device. Others use tablets, and others use PCs, but this would definitely be the majority because this enables the employee to be mobile and they can go around. If it takes images and pictures, it's touch screen. Why they might take a picture is they load up a truck and it's packaged nicely. They take a picture of that so they have that to show in case something comes back to say some goods were damaged. Or if a box shows up at the receiving door and it's all squished and damaged, they can take a picture of that to show that this is how it was received at the dock door. We provide lookup screens. And what that means is you can look up a part, you can look up a trace, you can look up what's in a bin, for example, and see what parts are in there. It just provides a lookup for the people. They can look it up anywhere in the warehouse, so they don't have to walk up to a kiosk, punch in that information, and then try and figure what they're doing because they start talking to somebody else and they forget what they were punching in. I see that happen time and time again. We have single entry. It's designed for mobile devices. So what that means is that it's really just one screen that they're going to be working on, and they put that information in, and then they go off to the next task or the next line or whatever they have to start working on. Instead of having tabs where they have to tab through or go to another screen to find something. Print on demand, what that means is from anywhere in the warehouse, so they're working at the receiving door, they receive the goods, they can say, okay, I need to print 5 labels for these 5 boxes that I just received. They can do it directly from this device. So again, it stops them from stopping what they were doing, walking over to a kiosk, finding the label software, and then clicking on that. And I can get more into that as well of how we help in that area. One quick example would be, I'm a manufacturer, distributor, and I distribute to Lowe's, Home Depot, and Walmart. And it's the same part, but to Lowe's, Home Depot, and Walmart, it's 3 different parts, 3 different label requirements. our software, by working with what we have within the software, we can tell by part which customer, which labels which is required, and they can do that. They can print on that right from this device here and have it print to the proper printer that it's going to. And I think that's what I had to talk about. I'm going to pass it over to Mohan now. And Andy, next screen.
Hello, everyone. So before even talking about the Putaway templates, let's talk about the efficient Putaway very quickly. Then I'll pass it to Annie. Optimizing a storage space, facilitating efficient picking and retrieval of items, enhancing overall warehouse operations are the main goals for the efficient Putaway. Next. So best practices for the Putaway. So there are many factors can decide the method of Putaway. Some are product characteristics, consumer demand, operational considerations, separate zones for different products, sizes, and other relevant criteria, inventory accuracy, better communication channel between receiving and Putaway teams. So this is very important. This can reduce the delays and errors. Then the final one is automation to improve the processes. Here, RO Plus and BC templates can help. Next. So why is RO Plus Putaway here? So why don't we use the Business Central Putaway? The main point here is the better mobile-friendly workflow when comparing Business Central. So these can run on the handheld devices very smoothly, and the screens are very, very smooth. One screen to another screen, it can give a clear information. Then a process automation. Next, RO Plus uses the BC template. So you don't need to have a separate Putaway templates. You can define in BC and use it in RO Plus. Real-time data capture and validations. Then image and video capture. The final one, avoid printing Putaway instructions. You don't need to have any printed information. You can have everything on the device. Next. So there are three types of Putaway methods. So one is a fixed location Putaway, directed Putaway, dynamic Putaway. So it doesn't need to be, only these three. You can have more than that, but these are the main type in the industry they follow. In fixed location Putaway, we need to assign permanent storage spaces to products. In directed Putaway, we need to use predefined rules and instructions to determine the placement of items. Dynamic Putaway, storage locations are based on real-time factors. However, these rules are not written in stone. Companies can choose one or more Putaway methods depending on their needs. Next. John, I'll pass it to you so you can give some information here.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mohan. So yeah, because you're attending today, we're offering a 30-day trial of RF Plus for Business Central. It comes as a 2-user license, and you don't have to provide any credit information during the sign up. It's just an easy fill in, and then you get to use the licenses for the next 30 days. And I think we're going to put the link into the chat. And if you need to extend it for another 30 days, up to me, it's really no problem, because people start getting used to it and they want to test a little bit further. So we'll start off with a 30-day trial. And if you want to move it out to 60 days, that will be fine. So hopefully some of you will take advantage of that and test out the software. Thank you. Annie, I think we're over to you now.
Yeah, thanks, John. Hello, everyone. So let me quickly switch to the other screen. Yeah. So as John and Mohan mentioned, so I'll be walking you through the RF Plus for Business Central application, and we'll also be showing the different Putaway templates that we saw on the slide. So before we start, I would like to give you a quick overview of our RF Plus for Business Central application. So the login and everything is really simple, as we just heard from John. So as we launch the URL, so we just have to use a browser. And then as you launch it, it will take you to the login page. We don't have to create separate credentials and store it for RF Plus. We just use the Microsoft Business Central credentials itself. So let me input my username and the password. So if you're logging in for the first time, it would ask you for the organization. And as you enter the organization, that is when you'll be asked for the login. And as you log in, it will take you to this screen. So this screen is the environment that you're logging into. So say, for example, you have 3 different environments, say one for UAT, one for production, and the other one for this testing or sandbox. So all those will be listed here. So the default one will be prompted. And if you wanted to change, you can click on the change and you can choose the one that you wanted to log in. So for today's session, we're using the RF Plus UAT. And as you select the environment, we might have multiple companies under that. So in this case, we see there are 2 companies. So we will be using this. So if you just have one, that will be auto prompted and you just have to click OK. And that is it. That will take you to the actual screen. And this is the landing page or the base page, we would say. And I'd like to give you a quick overview of the screen. So on the top left, we have the side menu. And when you click on that, it will give all the information like the username, the email ID that you use to log in, the environment, the company name, and all those informations here. And then you have the main menus. We have the inbound, inventory, production, and outbound. And as you click on each card, you will see the sub menus within. And you can go to the respective screens from here. And then we have few settings there. And we can also change the organization or the environment from here. So that is all about this. And then right next to that, we have the warehouse selection space. So in Business Central, we call them locations. So if you have access to like multiple warehouses, those will be listed here. And the one that is defined as default in Business Central will be auto-selected. So if you wanted to switch, you can switch anytime. And then the small icon right here is just to download this. So our application is a PWA application, which means like you can click on this and this will install that to your device. If you're on your handheld devices, this will install it as an app. So it's not really an application, but you will have a shortcut on your device and you just have to click on it just like using the other applications. So we do support this on the Android and the iOS devices. So as you click on this, that will be downloaded. So you don't have to launch your browser every time. You can just use the application from there. So that is all about this. And then, as I mentioned, we have the inbound, inventory, and other modules here. So right now we have the inbound module, inventory, and outbound up and running. And on the inbound, we have the PO receiving, PO put away, and QC PO release. And then under inventory, we have the warehouse movement or the inventory movements, and then the inventory lookup and the counts. And then under outbound, we have picking and shipping. So we also additionally support wave orders, which means like you can combine multiple sales orders into a single order and you can do the pick all at once. So that is also supported in RF Plus for Business Central. And we also do support the LPNs. So that is a quick overview of our application. And today, in today's session, we'll be focusing more on the PO receiving and put away, especially the put away. So before we get into this, I would like to show the put away templates that we have created. So you just have to log into the Business Central and you search for put away template. So as you click on this, that will actually take you to this page. So here we can define like any number of templates we can create. There's no restrictions to it. So in this case, as we saw in Mohan's presentation, we see the fixed, dynamic, and directed putaways. And as he mentioned, it doesn't have to be the same. You can define it as per the requirement in the warehouse. So we call it fixed, directed, and dynamic. And this is the standard template that is by default available in Business Central. And there are two places where we can use this template. One, we can define it at the location level. So if you're just using one kind of template and you wanted to use it across all the items in the warehouse, you can just do it from here. So let's go to locations. We select the location that we wanted to define. And at the bottom here under bin policies, we have the Putaway template. So we have defined this as standard for now, as we are using different templates on the item level. So as I mentioned, there are two places we can define this, one at the location level and the other one is at the item level. So the hierarchy, the priority will be given to the template that is defined in the item level. If the item does not have any template code, that is when it looks at the location level. So in this case, we just left that as standard. This is one place and the other place is on the item card. So I'll show you that. But before that, I'd like to explain about this fixed, directed, and dynamic. So let's start with fixed. So in Business Central, this is like the templates is nothing but the kind of rules or the protocols that we create and customize, I would say. And when you have this defined, the system will come and look at this rule. So it'll look for a fixed bin. So fixed bin is nothing but like, say, for example, we have an item and we have a bin called A, and we can assign that bin A as a fixed bin for that item. So likewise, we can assign multiple bins as fixed bins. And the ones that are not fixed bins are called floating bins. So our rules in this case is it looks for a fixed bin, and then it filters all those fixed bin, and then the next check would be on the item number. So it will find the same item. So it will see if how many of those fixed bins has the same item. And further down, it goes checks for the unit of measure. So there are cases where we have different base unit of measures and different receiving unit of measures. So it will also look for the unit of measures. And if it doesn't find a bin to suggest, so the next step would be it checks for the next line, which is the next rule. It will go check for a fixed bin again, and it just finds the same item. It doesn't care about the unit of measure. So what happens is when we receive an order, when we try to put away that item into the inventory, that is when this put away template is being used. And then this template will be based on this template, the suggested bin will be prompted. So this is on the fixed bin. And then we have the directed. So on the directed, since we are saying that it is a directed put away, we are again using the fixed bins here. So we look for a fixed bin, find the same item, and look for the same unit of measure. And we also have this concept called minimum quantity. So say, for example, I'm setting an item to a bin, and I'm saying that the minimum quantity is 500. So it means that it should always have the minimum quantity. So if it doesn't have those minimum quantities, and this will be prompted until we reach there. So that is this rule. And then it comes to the next line, it looks for a fixed bin and find the same item, and it doesn't look for the unit of measure, it just looks at the quantity, minimum quantity. And if it doesn't find a bin there, it again comes to the third rule, which is looking for a fixed bin and just the same item, and otherwise find an empty bin. So that is all about the directed. And quickly on the dynamic. So when we say dynamic, we are not going to the fixed bin, we are looking for a floating bin. And when we say floating bin, it looks for a same item and same unit of measure. If it doesn't get a bin, then it looks for a floating bin and the same item. And if that case couldn't find a bin, then it comes to this rule. So likewise, we have created 3 different types of put away templates. And so as I mentioned before, we can define it in 2 different places. One we saw at the location level, and the other one is at the item level. So we scroll towards the bottom, and under this warehouse section, we have the Putaway template code where we define this. So here for this item, we have defined it as fixed. So likewise, we have created 3 different items that we can show you for today's session. So let's switch back to our RF Plus application. And so I have an order which has 3 different items, and those 3 different items uses all those 3 different Putaway templates. Let's go ahead and receive them. So this is the receiving bin that is defined in Business Central. So that is auto prompted. And let's say 10 quantities. And I hit update. So 10 quantities has been received. And then, so that was a non-traceable item. So we just gave the quantity there. And this is a traceable item. And we see an indicator here on the top. And then we do support 2 different types of traces, that is the lot and the serial number. So this item is a lot number. So let's go ahead and do 10 quantities. And as we enter, so we have an expiry date for this lot. So let me pick some random dates. And the control then comes to the lot ID field. So in this lot ID field, we can input our customized lot IDs, or if you're receiving your product with a lot ID, you can just scan it here. And you can also auto generate it on the fly. So let me click on this icon. So as we click on that, that will update, that will create a lot. It will update that 10 quantities expiry date, and it will hit the update button. So that makes it very simple. And if you wanted to view the one that you've already received, we have the previously received one and a small I button. So clicking on that will bring the lot ID that the system just created. So in this case, it is lot 0052 and the quantity is 10. So let's go ahead. And this small progress bar here shows what you've received already and which is in progress right now. And let's close this. We'll do a quick receiving on this item too. Again, this is also a traceable item. We'll do some 10 quantities and some random dates. So far we have received 10 quantities on each of the line, but the quantities are not posted yet. So posting is when we actually update these quantities to Business Central. So we see that the pending to post is showing up all the quantities that we just received. So let's go ahead and post it. So as we post this, that is when this will be reflected in BC and the receipt ID will be created. So we see that 3 of 3 source documents are posted and we've got the receipt ID here. So when I hit OK, my pending to post went back to 0 because we have already posted it. And all these quantities are updated now. So that is all about receiving. Let's go back to our Putaway. So in Putaway, I'd like to scan. So wherever we have these search bars and the scanner icons, we do support scanning. So you just have to scan the barcode and that will take you to that item. Yeah. So this was the first item that we received, and we see that we have 10 quantities, and we saw that we received it to RE01. And here in this case, the to bin is the suggested bin. So this is what we saw about in the Putaway template. So based on the template, the to bin is suggested. So again, you have an option to edit this. So if you wouldn't want to move it to this inventory, then you can just go ahead and click on this and you can look for another bin and you can move it. So in this case, we see IN05. Let me quickly show the bin contents of this. Right. Yeah, we're already on the item 1003. So here, yeah, we see there are different types of unit of measure. So we have boxes and pieces. So when we go back to our screen, we see that we have received this as boxes. So when we go here, let me close this and let me look for bin contents. Yeah. So here in this case, we see that these two IN01 and IN05 are defined as fixed bins, but the rule will also look at the unit of measure. So when it looks at the unit of measure, we see that IN01 has pieces and IN05 has boxes. And since we are receiving it as boxes, that location is suggested as the putaway location based on the template. So let's go ahead and do a putaway. But before that, we wanted to look at the quantity. So we see that we have 70 quantities and the base quantity is 420. Let's do a quick putaway. So we just have to enter the quantity and update, that's it. So the putaway is registered. And then let's go back and come back to the screen again. So we see that the 70 has now become 80 and the base quantity is also updated accordingly. So this is with a fixed putaway. And then let's do a putaway on the other items. So as we scan it, we see that there are 2 lots on this. So we just received one with a 10 quantity. So we'll go ahead and pick this lot. And then we see that the suggested bin is IN06. So this will again look for a fixed bin. So let's clear this filter. Let's look for the item. And in this case, on the second template, we saw that we defined some minimum quantities out there. And we see that there are 2 different bins that has minimum quantity and maximum quantities there. And we also see that there's a fixed bin. So based on this, IN06 is suggested as the suggested bin because we have the minimum quantity is still less than 500. So that is suggested as the bin there, right? So let's go ahead and do a quick putaway and just enter the quantity and update. Yeah. Since we do have another lot on the same item, it's taking us to this page. So let's go back and let's do a scan on the last item. Yeah, so again, we do see 2 different lots here. So the 10 quantities for the one that we just received. And let's, we again see that we see the IN06. Let's go ahead and look at the bin contents. Let's pick that item. Yeah. So we saw that the IN06 was marked as a fixed bin for the previous item that we just put away. But in this case, this for this item, this bin again is not a fixed bin. So this is a floating bin, right? So, and also based on our template, it will look for the same item with the same unit of measure and a floating bin. So based on that, IN06 is the suggested bin. Right, so it looks for the template and it finds this location, this bin, and that is what is suggested here. And let's go ahead and do a putaway for those 10 quantities. And we hit update. Yeah, so we see that the card is gone now. Now here should be reflected. Let's refresh this. Yep, we see that the quantities are reflected. So that is how we do create different Putaway templates in Business Central, and we can define each Putaway templates to different items, or we can use this just a standard template and we can use that as a default one across the warehouse. And when we come to RF Plus for doing a Putaway, that will be suggested automatically based on the template that you've created in Business Central. Yeah, that is all about the inbound section, and that is how we do a Putaway in just like a single step. You just have to look for the item, scan the item, open that, just update the quantities, and that's it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Annie. I just have a quick question on the directed put away. Is it showing the location that should go into?
The directed?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is. I can
Okay.
quickly show it.
That's okay. I just wanted to ask that question. That's great. So if you could hop back to the slide deck.
Yeah.
And we're on to the next slide. Great. So Mark, did any questions come in?
Yeah, there are some. So first one, when are receipts and put away information updated to Business Central?
Mohan, you want to grab those?
You're muted, Mohan.
So what's the questions against Mark?
When are receipts and put away information updated to Business Central?
Yes, it's a real-time update. As soon as you just received and posted, the informations are updated right away.
Great. And there's another one regarding the free trial. Is it possible to get a 60 or 90-day trial instead of a 30-day one?
Yes, typically we provide a 30 days trial, but if you need more trial, you can call John. We can extend, right? Once you just first try the 30-day, we will provide the 30-day in 1 or 2 days. You can call John so we can extend. Or just before extending, you can call. Yeah, in the past, we provided to a few customers, we will do the same thing. Even we can go up to 90 days in some cases.
John, if possible, you can drop your email and phone number in the chat.
Yep.
Okay, so we have another one. What types of OS are supported by R+?
Yes, this our application is a web-based application. So basically, you can run it on any browser. Also, it's a PWA, is a progressive web applications. So that's mean, you through like Annie mentioned that there's a small icon so you can click on and download it to the device. So any device is Android or iOS or Windows, you can download as an app and run it. So it can run in most of the platforms, standard platforms.
Great, and that's all the questions in the chat.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. So that's what we had for today. And like we said, this is the
Hold on, we have another one.
Oh, okay.
It's for Harry, and one for Eric as well. It's in the Q&A session, if you guys can see the question. So Harry's question is is it license per device or license per user?
So this is a license per user. That's what we have it now. But you can use any devices. It's license per users. But it's a concurrent users, right?
Right. So what that means is that if you have 10 people that work, and let's say it's 2 shifts, so 5 in each shift, and you want them all to have a license for each shift, you would only need 5 licenses, even though you have 10 people having access to the system.
Yeah, it's almost like, well, act like a device license, but again, the license by the, we use say 5 user. So currently, how many users? 5. That's what we are looking, not like a named users. We are not dedicating any license to a user.
Harry, if you want to unmute and ask more questions, you can do so. I just asked you to unmute.
Oh, it's actually Rachel. I'm not sure
Oh,
whether it's
Rachel.
him. Yeah, it's using Harry's account.
Rachel, nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you. Hey, my question is just if I have 5 users, they only using if I have a, for example, Zebra device and have your application there. And do we have to, because in the Business Central is we have the license per users, right? If we're talking about 10 users gonna have 3 devices, do I need to purchase the license for 10 users, or I only need to purchase the license for 3 devices, which is each user login devices can log in their user credential, but that's it per device, it's not per user.
Right. So from what you said there, it would be 3 licenses.
It will be 3 licenses. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
we
then
have another question for Eric.
Yep, Mohan, can you see the question?
Yeah, I see the questions.
It's in the Q&A. Yes. How would you handle the put-away process for heavyweight products that don't have a defined exact weight? Eric, I'll unmute you and allow you to talk as well. Sorry for the wait. Eric is still there?
Yes. I'm thinking about this one because, I'm trying to, link to the system requirements. Yeah, maybe, it's a better persons, Jeff and others who already have that experience. I mean, in system, we can map whatever we want. There's no restriction on this, this is mainly about the warehouse experience, how we can do that. John, what do you think? Maybe Jeff can answer this question. Maybe can we answer these questions later?
Yeah, we can get back to Eric. I'm sure we have Eric's email, but usually this would be a floor location, correct? Because it's a heavyweight, so you're not going to put it up into a bin in most cases. I mean, I don't know yet. So we would probably have some of those locations spread out already, but we'll talk with Jeff and then get back to Eric on that.
All right. Thank you.
I don't see any more questions. Anything else pop up for you, Mark?
It's all good on my end. We
Okay.
answer all the questions. Yes.
Great. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for participating today, and thank you for the questions. We love the questions, and Eric, sorry I couldn't answer right off the bat, but we will get back to you shortly in an email and let you know the best practice for that way to handle that in Business Central. And hopefully you'll be able to join us again as our series continues throughout the year. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.